On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
抱きしめてお前とプライまるで泣いているような感じてる声に溶けてゆくセレナデ
On to day 5, we were talking about Akira and Kusaka's wondrous work on the series Sorcerous Stabber Orphen. This series, to me, is just tremendously underrated. It is ridiculous. Not a lot of people have even heard of this series, and that's criminal to me. It is just a great shonen series. It is great fantasy, and again, as I mentioned, not enough people have watched this show. My goodness, please, before I even talk about it, at least check it out. Search it up. Look at the key art. Watch the openings. It's just fantastic. Everything about it just appeals to a huge audience, but it just has not captured that for some reason. The story of this series is very simple. You have the main character, Orphen, who is in search to save his friend Azali. Azali is a woman that turned into basically a giant dragon. There's a sword called the Blade of Baltanders. He has to use that to bring her back. There's this prestigious magical school that's involved that was involved with her transformation, her experimentation with magic, and they're trying to cover it up. He's trying to... It's really, really cool. It is kind of simple, but it is different than most fantasy-driven type of series. And in my opinion, there's just not enough good fantasy-driven type of series. I mean, there's like Fairy Tail and Black Clover now, but those are just so, like, shonen. They kind of drop the moniker of fantasy, and it just kind of focuses in on just cool characters doing cool things. Now, I'm not dissing those series at all, but this series, to me, does so much more than those. I think that this series really just carries the torch of fantasy. The main character, Orphen, to me, is just so well designed. So well designed. Kusaka's work on this character is just magical. His headband, his gloves, the sword he uses, the magic abilities, he is just a genuine badass. He really is. His English VA is really good. I watched the show dubbed. There's actually 2 seasons. The second season is called Orphen 2 Revenge, which is just what any sequel should be called. And there's also some rumblings, or I shouldn't even say rumblings, it is confirmed that the series will be receiving another season next year. I think that's the only series that I'm going to be talking about during the 12 Days of Anime that is still technically ongoing. I think there's even a current manga series with the original author still at helm. That is fantastic, and I'm so looking forward to that next anime series. A1 did tremendous work on that. This series has a lot of great animation. The openings are just so good. The series goes in a lot of different directions. It's very comedy driven at points. There's these 2 like dwarf characters that are kind of the comedic relief, and they're kind of involved in a lot of the adventures. They're kind of evil in the beginning, and then they kind of grow on you and then grow with our characters. There's this kind of sidekick character. His name is Magic, and he's really cool as well. He's kind of a student to Orphen. There's even kind of a love story. It kind of reminds me of like if Inuyasha just went into like fantasy, like just straight up like Castle Times medieval fantasy. That's what it kind of reminds me of, but actually executed a little bit better than Inuyasha. I think that the sense of adventure in this series is just translated better than Inuyasha. The sense of time and just the pacing of the story and everything like that. I really like it. The fights in this series, there's giant monsters, there's, as I mentioned, there was this other, this school involved, and they're trying to cover up the story. There's like knights from that school that try to stop Orphen from bringing her back from the story breaking out, and they're really cool as well. The villains are it's just fantastic. I highly recommend it. Again, just at least check out the first episode, read the first chapter, just give it a chance because it deserves it, and it is getting another season next year. I don't really know what that is. That hasn't really been described yet. It is celebrating the 25th anniversary. I don't know if it's a remake of the first season. I don't know if it's a sequel to the second season, because there is still more manga. Apparently at the end of the second season, the main character gets married and has kids, and it's like, I don't even know what's going on. I probably should check that out myself, but again, a new season. I don't know if A1's at the helm of this one again. Hopefully they are, because they've done really great work with the first season, and the second season, I should say. And I'm very, very excited for that. I remember finding out that news earlier this year, I believe, and just being blown away. I was genuinely shocked because I thought that this series was just dead. But apparently not. It is getting another season. It has a chance of reaching a bigger audience. Hopefully it does. And hopefully you guys check it out. I really, that's kind of my goal here, is to get you guys to check out series that you otherwise wouldn't. And I think that Orphen is a very fun series. I think out of a lot of these series I've been talking about, this one kind of captures a broader audience. You know, it's kind of for everybody. There's so much going on here. It's shonen, it's comedy, it's magical, it's fantasy. It gets a lot of things done right. Anyway, that is pretty much all I have to say about the Sorcerous Stabber Orphen. Have you heard of this series? Have you seen it? Comment down below. Give me your thoughts on this wondrous fantasy. Do you agree with me? Does it not hold up? It has been quite a while since I've seen it. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a few years. I think it's about time for a rewatch myself because we're getting another season. That's awesome to me. But yeah, comment down below. Give me your thoughts on all things Sorcerous Stabber Orphen. Happy holidays, everyone. We are getting closer and closer to Christmas Day, closer and closer to New Year's. I just hope all of you guys are having a great season so far, and I hope you guys are enjoying the 12 days of anime. And until tomorrow, until the next day, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.